Hi everyone, it's Justine here from House of Mahalo. Thanks so much for joining me for another Travel Tuesday. So what are we talking about today? Well, we are going to make some altered paper clips and some word mounts if there's time. So this is the type of thing that I want to make, these little paper clips. And for these I'll add dangles when I come to use them, and I thought we could add some little words to them. So we're using up some scraps and some paper clips. These are the paper clips that I'm using. They're kind of like, they look like an arrow. I got them from Amazon for a few quid for 50. So I want to use up some of those and my scraps. So technically this is a shop your stash video as well, because I want to use up these paper clips and scraps that have piled up a bit. So that's what we're making. And of course, as you might have guessed, today's episode is all about Paris. So let me show you first of all, now this is nothing new. I have seen, lots of people do these. I can't remember where I saw them, but it was about a year ago or something. But they're nothing new. So I will just show you, for those of you who haven't seen these, and to be fair, I kind of need to remember myself, to be honest. So you get your sort of strip, and you want a strip that is smaller than your paper clip. So for example, this one here, can you see that? If I put the paper clip in, you wouldn't be able to see the bottom of it. So I'm just going to cut some off, just like that. So then instead what we get is, if I put the paper clip in, you can see it overhangs slightly. Okay, so you want to grab your paper clip, and we're going to put the shorter side at the front, like that. And the longer side is going to be hidden in the middle. And then we're just going to fold the piece of paper around the paper clip, trapping the middle longer part in it. Just cut off a little piece like that. I'm going to fold that over. And then we just want to remove the paper clip briefly. There we go, so that we can glue this little flap on the back like that. So grab my glue. I'm just using tacky glue. That should be fine. And then you just want to glue that into place. Okay, I think that's all glued. And then you just want to slip your paper clip back in, so the longest part goes inside and the shortest part goes over the bit that you've just glued, the flap you've just glued. So if you pop that in, and you get this little paper clip. And then the paper clip side, so this is obviously what will go on your paper, that is covering up the flap that you've just glued down. So you get the front side and the back side. Now just be careful when you do, put your paper clip in, that you don't like rip your papers and things. So I hope that made sense. That's what we're going to make, and as I say, it's nothing new, so I'm sure you'll get the hang of it as you see me make some more. But we're going to be talking about my trip to Paris. So I'm going to start with the Eurostar as I cut this down to size. So yeah, we got the Eurostar. Now we were actually staying outside of Disney. We didn't pay to stay on the park. Partly because we wanted to save some money. So we must have paid a quarter of the price of what others do, and partly because we knew that we would want to go into Paris for one of the days. So we were getting a Eurostar from London, 10 o'clock in the morning, with the idea that we would be able to get into France, Paris, by the afternoon, sort of early afternoon-ish. Now we did have a couple of delays with the Eurostar, but all in all it was all right. We just had to wait around for a bit. By the time we had checked into the hotel and all of that side of things, we had sorry, just concentrating. Sorry, try not to rip my paper. put that in. Yeah, so by the time we got into Paris, like after we checked in and we got a train into Paris and everything, it was about, I don't know, 4 in the afternoon, 3:30, 4, something like that, which is not too bad, all things considered. You know, that is fine. So yeah, our first afternoon was spent in Paris itself, and that was, yeah, lovely. So both of us have done Paris separately, so, you know, without each other, and we've never done it together. Actually, Paris was my first trip on my own, so not my first trip, but my first trip that I'd taken. You know, Scott and I have been together a few years now. Before I met him, I used to travel solo, and Paris was the first trip that I took on my own after I'd started, you know, after I'd met him. So whilst we were sort of early days, I was, you know, messaging him on Facebook whilst I was in Paris. But it was nice to be able to actually, you know, go and share that with him and everything. Yeah, really, really nice to be able to share that with him. There we are. So once you get the hang of these, they come together pretty quick. It just takes a little bit of remembering how to do them sometimes. Anywho, so yeah, we had a lovely time. So the first day in Paris itself, you know, we walked through the gardens. We got some pastries. We saw the Eiffel Tower lit up at night, which I actually missed the first time I went to Paris because I didn't feel safe being on my own at night. So when I was in Paris alone, I made sure that I was back at my apartment that I was renting, you know, by the time it got dark. So yeah, by sort of 4 in the afternoon, I was making my way back to where I was staying. Yeah, just because it's not the safest of cities, especially for women on their own. But you know, with Scott, I felt safe enough to see the Eiffel Tower at night finally, which was a dream come true in itself. And oh, we just had the most beautiful sunset as we walked along the river to the Eiffel Tower. It was an absolutely stunning sunset. It really, really was. That was amazing. So even just that in itself was like worth the trip into the city, you know. So yeah, that was lovely. And so yeah, we started our trip in style. So we spent all evening in Paris itself, and then we arrived back at our flat, hotel, sort of, you know, late in the evening, and yeah, we were all excited for our Disney trip. So we had almost 2 full days in Disney itself. So the first day we were there from open till closing, which is about 12 hours. Oof, that is a long day, isn't it? And then the second day, on the Wednesday, we were due to go back on the Eurostar, but not until 6 o'clock. So, you know, we could spend the bulk of the second day in Disney as well. So the first day was at the Disney park, which is where the castle is. Here in Europe, the castle is like made to look like, actually I'm just going to cut this one down slightly. Yeah, the castle here is made to look like the Sleeping Beauty castle. And I think Lisa, who's in the Facebook group, said that the American one is made to look like Cinderella's castle. So they do look different, similar but different. Beautiful nonetheless. And here in Europe, you can go upstairs in the castle to see the stained glass windows, and it like tells the story of Sleeping Beauty through the stained glass windows, and there's like storybooks, you know, around that you can walk around to see. And then you can go down into the basement, and there's a like an animatron dragon that you can see as well, which I don't think they have in other castles. It's like a hidden gem. You kind of have to really try and find the door entry to it. It's not obvious at all. We must have been looking for about 10 minutes. But yeah, found it eventually, so that was good. And yeah, from the moment I set foot in Disney, I felt like a little kid, and it felt like I was making dreams come true, you know, at the ripe old age of 30 odd. Because I've never been to Disney. I've wanted to go my whole life, never been. And just, yeah, being able to finally make it happen now was wonderful. And obviously to share it with Scott was a blessing in itself, because, oh, he's my best friend. Not to get all mushy on you, but he is. And yeah, to be there with him was lovely. And just, I mean, they really, really go to town with the decoration and the decor of the whole place, don't they? Like, I shouldn't be surprised because it is Disney, but I was surprised. I really didn't think that it would be, that there would be as much thought put into just the general feeling of the place. Now, we were visiting in October, and although it wasn't officially Halloween or anything, we did see the Halloween decorations. You know, they've got like pumpkins out and things like that, which was cool. Obviously a Disney Disney version of it. Actually, I'm just going to cut that one down a little bit. There we go. So, as for the rides, now there were some amazing rides. The queues were a little bit long. Nothing compared to if it had been peak time, you know, a weekend, school holidays, anything like that. There were still, you know, kids around and lots of queues, but certainly a lot less than what we were, you know, what could have been the case. Anyway, and the rides, there were some amazing ones. We really liked Pirates of the Caribbean. That was very well done. It was, you know, you go around in a little boat, like a boat type ride, and they had like animatron pirates, loads of them, you know, throughout the ride type of thing that you can see, and they're like, you know, I don't know, drinking their beers and doing sort of pirate shanty songs and stuff like that. And then you see Jack Sparrow at the end with, you know, his mountain of treasure and stuff. If you haven't seen the film, it probably doesn't make sense. I quite like the original two films, particularly the first one. After that, I just lost interest, but certainly the first two, I really liked the movies. So the ride is amazing. And actually, we worked ourselves up. Like, we built ourselves up with the rides getting more and more intense as the day went on. I personally am not a huge fan of big rides. Scott is an adrenaline junkie, so he loves them. I'm not as big a fan. You know, give me a medium roller coaster with a little bit of a thrill any day, and give him the big ones, you know. But we built ourselves up, and eventually, the last ride of the day, on this first day, it was at Hyperspace Mountain. And oh my goodness me, it's like being fired out of a rocket. It's so fast. I think it's modelled on like a Star Wars type theme, you know, with the idea that you're going into hyperspace. And it's in the dark and it's twisty and turny. But it was a lot of fun. I was glad it was over, but it was fun as a big rides go. You know, I'm not, yeah. I like to think I was brave to go on it. In my opinion. Anyway, and I'll just see how big, yeah. Anywho, so other rides of the day, there was a Star Wars like 4D simulation thing. That was amazing. That's the best simulation I've ever been on in my life. Easy. It was very, very well done. And so yeah, that was well worth, you know, waiting for. I've made that one too small now. Yeah, that was well worth waiting for. And what else was there? Just trying to think what we went on. Oh, there was a Buzz Lightyear ride in this park. That one was, you sit in this sort of coaster thing, like a roller coaster thing. It's not any big loop-de-loops or anything like that. Like, it's you know, a little bit thrill-taking, but not excessively slow, like good for kids and everything. But you get to shoot at targets as you go along this ride. So you've got like a blaster gun and you're shooting at targets, and the idea is that you build up points that you can see on your little dashboard of your car. That one was very well done as well. But yeah, I think the Star Wars simulation and the Pirates of the Caribbean, I think those were my favourite rides of that first day. Actually, of the whole Disney experience. Actually, they were very, very well done. Just trying to think what else we went on. Isn't it funny? It was only a few days ago, so I'm filming this at the weekend after we got back, and you know, we only got back the other day, and I already can't remember what we did. So I'm gonna do my best for you. I don't know if I should do all of these paper clips or what. I suppose I could just keep going. I'll do one in, this is a nice one. Isn't it funny? I'm trying to use up scraps. I'm just making scraps as I go. Always the way, isn't it? Anyway, what was I saying? I need to make that one a bit shorter. So yeah, that was the first day, and then we did the in the evening at that park. They call it illuminations, and it's where they light up the castle, like the main, you know, Disney castle. And they have like they had, because it's their 30th anniversary this year of the park being opened. They had a drone show bearing a big 3-0 and all of this sort of stuff. It was very, very clever. And then they had some fireworks, and they did like a light up show over the castle, and it was very, very clever. It lasted a good sort of 15 minutes or 20 minutes or something. Very, very clever, and that in itself was worth going for. Very, very good. And then I loved that park because they had all these little like extras that you could see. Like if you weren't there for the rides, there was still lots that you could do. So they had like little cut throughs where you could go and see like something to do with Aladdin, and have all these like treasure shows to see, and just loads of things like that. And for those of you who have been to Disney, you'll be thinking, well, of course they've got that stuff. They're a family-friendly park, of course they've got. But I had no idea. I really didn't know what to expect, because I didn't want to do a lot of reading up beforehand, simply because I didn't want to be, you know, sometimes you can do a lot of reading and you have certain expectations, and then if it doesn't live up to that, you can maybe be disappointed. Of course, I did not want to be disappointed, so I thought, if I just go in with a completely blind eye, not sure what's going on, and we'll just see what happens kind of a thing, then I would just hopefully just be amazed regardless, and I was. Anyway, so that was the first day. And then the second day we spent it at the Walt Disney Studios, which is the, in Europe they have two parks. There's Disneyland, and then there's Walt Disney Studios, which is part of the complex, but essentially a different park. And that one was very much based on like Avengers and Spider-Man, and they had some Toy Story stuff. What else did they have? I think that was sort of the bulk of it really, and that's where some of the biggest rides were. And oh my goodness me, sorry if I made anyone jump just then, but we went to queue for a ride that was very well reviewed. It was called Crusher's Coaster. I think that's what it was, and it was I'm trying to think what film or whatever it was based on. I actually cannot remember. But you were in this like turtle shell. There was 4 people in a turtle shell, so 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and you sit back to back, and you do all kinds of loop-de-loops and whatnot in this tiny little turtle shell with no word of lie. All it had was a bar that comes down like this, not one of these over the shoulder ones. Oh my god, I was so terrified. I was actually terrified. Scott loved it, being the thrill seeker that he is. I hated it. At the end of it, I think I was just saying very loudly to him, "Is it over? Promise me it's over. Tell me it's over." I hated it. Absolutely hated it. And it's one of the biggest reviewed rides. The one that people queue easily an hour and a half, 2 hours and more for this ride. And I went on it thinking, why on earth did I go on this thing? Oh, no, not a fan at all. So after that, I needed to go and have a sit down. And thankfully, Spider-Man came round the corner and did this show on top of the buildings that I was just happened to be sitting in front of. And he did this like acrobatic show, which was very, very good. So I felt okay then, and Scott went off and did a couple of rides on his own. And I just sat there and was like, I'll just watch Spider-Man. Yeah, I needed to catch my breath after that one. I think because I'd gone on the Hyperspace Mountain the day before, so I felt like I'd worked up, you know, a stomach, like to say, oh, I can do these bigger rides, like I can go on them with Scott, you know. Ooh, after that turtle shell one, that was it. I was like, I ain't going on anything else. So we just kept it casual then and did, there was like a Spider-Man ride. And that one was similar to the Buzz Lightyear, where you sit in this little like car thing and you're shooting your webs. So you're doing this movement in front of like a screen and you're shooting the enemy basically. That was very well done. So it was like 4D experience again. And there was also a 4D Ratatouille experience, which was well worth it. That one was very, very clever, where you're made to feel like the rat in the film, and you're, you know, getting shooed under the table and getting chased out of the kitchen and all this kind of stuff. And it's very, very well done. It's really hard to just do it justice with words because so much thought has gone into these things. It's incredible. So yeah, all in all, an amazing experience. I'm so glad to have done it, and I want to go back. I want to go back. And believe it or not, I want to go back simply to forget the rides, forget the queues, and for the next time to just simply have a look around all the little extras they've got. So, you know, go around the castle again, look through the Aladdin stuff, just wander around the lands, the worlds that they've got, because they have put so much thought into the decor and the decoration and all of these little extras that genuinely I would be perfectly happy not going on a single ride and just doing that instead. So I would like to go back just simply for that reason. That would be amazing. So I'm putting it out there, putting it out into the universe. That is what I would like to experience, and well, we'll make it happen, won't we? Anyway, so that was that. I should tell you as well, and I know I'm gabbing like a dime a dozen because, well, I'm just excited to tell you all about it. On the Eurostar going out to France, now this won't make sense to those of you outside of the UK. For those of you in the UK, 2 rows behind us, sitting there with their family, was Stacey Solomon and Joe Swash. For those of you who have no idea who those people are, they are celebrities, of course, and they are, it would be like the equivalent of meeting someone who'd won American Idol, and she was married to a big presenter, famous presenter, and they're both, you know, well-known names in the country that you're in, and you recognise them essentially straight away, or as soon as you hear them talk. Well, they just happened to be sitting 2 rows behind us, and that was quite funny. So my husband saw them saw Stacey in the like food cart area, and comes back and says, "Oh, you never guessed who's on the same train as us? Stacey Solomon." And I thought, oh, I don't believe you. My husband is always saying he thinks he sees people. The same person who's convinced, you know, names that you just sort of think, that looks nothing like the person that you think it is. So I was convinced that it was not her. Well, anyway, he went off to the loo, comes back and says, "Oh, she's sitting behind us. She's 2 rows behind." And I thought, oh no, you know, no way is it her. Like, she wouldn't be in this carriage. She would be in, that, you know, they would be in like a business class or premier or something. No way have they paid the same price as us to sit in this sort of class, you know. Sort of that's the kind of thinking that I had, really. Anyway, he was absolutely convinced it was her, and we heard her talk, and she's got a very distinctive voice. She's from Essex, so it's quite a, like, you'll recognise that accent from anywhere. So we heard her talk and thought, well, it does sound a little bit like her. I still wasn't convinced. And it was only, you know, when we were getting ready to get off the train, Joe Swash then just suddenly was standing right next to our seat, and there's no mistaking him. You know, there was no mistaking him whatsoever. It was him. And it was, okay, fair enough. Yeah, she's on this train. They're on this train. And then, of course, when we got off, that's when everyone sort of saw them. And then you sort of heard the mutterings through the crowd of like, oh, can you believe she was on the same train as us? And oh, she was only sat next to us and all this. Because they played a very good job of keeping low key, simply because, you know, they're just trying to enjoy this family trip type thing. But yeah, that was surreal. And you know, yeah, just a funny thing to think, you know, oh, they were sat behind us all that time. It was quite amusing, actually. Just trying to think if there's anything else I can tell you about of this trip. I know a lot of you wanted to hear a lot about Paris itself. Well, obviously we only had an afternoon and an evening in there. We have been to Paris before, but I suppose I will tell you exactly what we did. So we just wandered around and saw some of the main sites. We tried to stick with the river, so the River Seine, because from there you can get to lots of places, and it's where all the like main tourist centre is, I suppose. And it's just easy then not to get lost. So we, you know, went to the river, saw the Pont de Neuf bridge. That's quite a famous one. We saw the Louvre. We didn't go in because to go in the Louvre, easy, you'd be in there for, you know, 4 or 5 hours. I did the Louvre on my own on my trip once upon a time, you know, saw the Mona Lisa and that side of things. But yeah, easy, you'd be, you know, all day just for this museum, and yeah, we didn't have time for that. But we saw the outside of the Louvre, and then the Jardin des Tuileries. That's a really pretty garden, with, you know, fountains and things. And then we walked along the rest of the river off to, you know, off to the Eiffel Tower. And, you know, that in itself is 4 hours, 3-4 hours, just for those bits, really. Lots of walking is what we did. So yeah, I've got all these paper clips ready now. So as I say, I will add some dangles to them when I come to use them. But that gets all those used up. You know, because with the paper clips, you know, these plain gold paper clips, I wasn't using them because I've got like ones like, I like to use these like teardrop ones if I do clip things in, because these don't snag the paper. These ones aren't too bad, but they do snag it a little bit, so I would only use these for altered paper clips. And I got these paper clips for this project, never used them, so about time I did, huh? So I've got these Tim Holtz sticker words, and I thought we might be able to use them on these. I think I fancy black, so let's just go through them and pick some words. So never used these before. Be amazed. So as you can see, they're just the perfect size. They felt very sticky, so I don't think I have to glue these stickers on. There you are. And then when you come to use it on your page, It'll be like this, and then you can have a dangle. Now I do have to remember as well that I might have some go the other way, because they can go either which way, but obviously I don't want the text to be upside down. You could equally have them at the top like this, the dangle coming down. So as long as I do a nice mix every which way, then I think I'll be happy. So yeah, I quite like the black with the white ones. I think it's quite bold then, isn't it? So let's do that. I'm just reading the words now. So let's do take risks. Now remind me, I'm supposed to be doing them, yeah, I've done another one that way, so I'll make the next one the other way around, so this away. Otherwise I'll do them all the same way. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed hearing about the trip. Obviously, you know, there's only so much that I can tell you. I haven't got a blog post about Disney yet, but I will have one this month is what I'm aiming for. It will be like a tips for Disneyland Paris for if you're going as adults, you know, without kids, because there's quite a lot that we learned from doing the trip on our own, and what we would do differently and what we did like and stuff like that. So you know, if that interests you, there will be a blog post. And for those of you who like the idea of reading about Paris itself, there is a blog post about Paris from my trip that I did on my own. I just need to update the photos now that I've got like some new photos from this past trip. I'll go in and update that. I don't know if I'll get to do that before Tuesday, because I'll probably put this up in a couple of days, this video. So yeah, that's that. So I will do more of these Travel Tuesday episodes. We don't have any plans now until, well, next year, I imagine. That's sort of us for this year, I suppose. But I'm going to put Make a Wish on this purple one, because I think I may end up using this in the purple fairy journal, maybe. Anyway, so yeah, that's us for this year, for traveling. But I still have lots of, you know, past trips that I haven't talked to you about. So yeah, I will be sure to do that. I'm trying to think what the next episode should be. I think I'd like to talk to you about Morocco, because there's a really funny experience from that trip that I think I might like to share. We call it our sort of travel travel fail, I suppose, and it's a doozy. So I think I'll probably aim for that to be the next episode. I just need to think of what kind of easy-ish project I can do, you know, whilst talking to you. Because yeah, I'm really trying to do these videos justice in terms of showing you something, and you know, I don't know, do I want white on that one? No. I'm just going to find the black version of that, because I really do like the black ones. Let it go. There we go. Yeah, anyway, I'm really trying to craft and talk about something unrelated at the same time. It's tricky for me. It's really tricky. So it does have to be a project that doesn't require that much thought, really. Let's be honest. So yeah, I probably will stop the video soon, because I don't think you need to see me sticking these words down on them all, do you? What I also wanted to do is, and I'm just going to show you because it might be useful for you to see how I use up my scraps and things. I've also got, oh, I found another paperclip, look. I got another one. I've got little strips like this, and I thought these would be good for turning into like word plates. So if I show you an example, with these here stickers, this is where we can use some of the longer ones perhaps. So let's go with, oh, that's nice. Hold on tight to your dreams. For these little strips like this, like that, straight away you can get, if I can cut in a straight line, that is, you can get this type of a thing for you then to use on pieces. So I'll probably do that with all these little strips next to me as well. But I think I have yattered on long enough. I hope that it was enough information about Disney. As I say, it's a little bit tricky to tell you everything, because with the rides and with Disney itself, I just feel like words isn't enough to show, like, to really explain how magical, that's gonna be too long, isn't it? How magical this place really is. I just, like, honestly, honestly, if you ever get the chance in your life and you're a fan of Disney and, you know, it sounds like a good trip to you, then honestly, please make it happen, because it's just an incredible, incredible, amazing experience. I can't tell you enough. Yeah, amazing. Really, really is. And I'm so, so blessed that I could, you know, finally, 30 years on, make it, you know, make my dreams come true kind of thing. And oh, that's what Disney is all about, isn't it? Dreams coming true. Just cutting the sticker down a little bit because it was a bit long. There we go. Live your life. And I think that's probably a nice quote to end on, to be honest. Live your life the way you want it. Make your dreams come true. That is very much the theme of today's episode. So if for those of you who are interested in seeing photos, there will be a Disneyland Paris blog up on my travel blog, you know, sometime this month. I'll probably just put it in the community area of my blog when it goes up, of my channel I mean, so that you can sort of see it if you are interested. But it will be sometime this month. And I'm going to say goodbye now, because otherwise I'm just going to waffle on about nothing. As you can see, all I'm doing is just popping these words on, like so. And then when I come to use these, I'll then try to have some dangles and little charms and stuff coming off from the side. And that is a Shop Your Stash project underway right now, where I am using up my scraps and my paper clips, finally to do a project that has been on my plate for a long time. And I will say goodbye whilst I carry on with these, and of course I'll just pop them in the thumbnail so you can see that I did get all of these done. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me, keeping me company, hearing about Paris and Disney. I hope you enjoyed hearing about that. Sorry if the video was a little bit short, but there's only so much I can say. And yeah, look out for the next Travel Tuesday. I don't know if it will be next week or whenever. I'm basically making a list of all the trips that I can tell you about, and then I am, you know, making a list of all the projects like this that, let's be honest, not everyone's going to want to watch. So it just means that I can, you know, talk and jabber away whilst doing it, kind of a thing. So yeah, and that is that. I will leave you with that. So I will leave you with some of these quotes. Make it count, live your life, make a wish, and take risks. Those are your quotes for today. Alright then, thanks everyone, and we'll speak soon. Much love to you all, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye for now.